Despite it being early in the college basketball season, we've already been treated to a top 5 matchup for both teams. We're looking to avoid going 0-2 on the week. Despite the bluest of bloods coming to town, the Zags punched first, led early, and never trailed. Do I look like I've gotten any sun? Can you guys tell? Don't tell my dermatologist. So in the tournament, you guys beat 3 ranked teams over the course of 4 days. I don't know if there's anything that could have prepped you guys for what's coming up better than that. How much confidence does that give you? As the Zags prepare to face Ole Miss, you might find yourself thinking, how much history could there possibly be between this SEC and WCC program? Well, turns out there's a little more than meets the eye. And it's just so exciting to see it all coming. Obviously today is a culmination of all the things that have happened throughout this season, but some of those moments in the regular season were so significant as well. And that's why it's so rewarding to see the fans here today that have been cheering them on all season long. Being a college athlete is hard enough. So many hurdles, so many distractions. But one Washington State Cougar has overcome so much more than what is normal.
You may not have seen redshirt freshman Miles Rice on the court, but you've probably seen or heard him nearby. Cheering on his teammates with a huge smile on his face.
So our internal leadership, certain categories, and Miles scored really high and didn't even play. And so I'm like, okay, he's connected to this group, and they're connected to him.
Rice was set to be the Cougs' point guard last season, but over the summer, things changed.
My auntie noticed my neck was like super huge, and she told my dad that we should get it checked out.
After many different samples were taken from the area around his neck.
Knowing the unknown is about to come to you and you can't really do anything about it, honestly, it's just like one of those things you just have to go through. There's no shortcuts. Just facing the unknown head on and just knowing that you were going to come out on the other side of it was basically my mentality.
The test results came back positive. Rice was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, cancer.
First, I didn't want to believe it. I called my dad first before I told my mom because it was her birthday. September 12th was her birthday, so I had to tell her on her birthday. After that previous morning, she had asked me about the results. I wasn't really too worried about the results because I didn't think anything was going to come back. So I was like, oh, I'm not worried about it, and I just told her happy birthday. But then later on in the day, I had to actually tell her that, her son was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. It wasn't easy, but she said, you know what, it's just another hurdle that we had to get over. God got us.
Was there ever a moment you just heard the word cancer and you thought, worst case scenario?
Of course, but I never voiced it because you don't want to put that into the air. But essentially, that's what most people think. You're always going to think about the worst, but you don't want to put it into the air.
All positive thoughts as Rice continued to practice with the team after he got used to the treatment plan.
The coaching staff was like, what's he doing? And we look at the trainer and said, I can do it. And he's still dunking. He's 180s and stuff like that. So he's just anxious to get in there. And I think his teammates pulled him through, and he was an inspiration for all of us. I'm sure our players got tired when they came in dragging a little bit, like, hey, this guy's going through a little more than what you're doing. It
was kind of nerve-wracking at first, I was putting on a strong face for my mom because I didn't want her to worry. Because, if she's worried, then and I'm a worry, and it's not going to be good on either side. My mom was out here, so she made sure even if it was just like some soup, she'll make sure I just eat some soup, stay hydrated. She still wanted me to just go to class. She said, as long as you're just there and you're just being a little attentive, that goes a long way because that shows your professors that you're actually still trying and you're going to put forth the effort. She was staying on top of me. She was like, make sure you don't drop below a certain weight.
Doctors said Miles was progressing more quickly than expected. He could be done by December. That changed. Another bump in the road for Miles, who was already fighting doubts.
Kind of gets in your mind psychologically, is it meant for me? Am I supposed to play? The moment I was able to come back on the court and do a simple layup was the moment that I knew that it was destined for me. Because that layup brought me so much joy in my life that I can't even remember the last time I felt like that. Being away from the game, it kind of hurts me a little bit. I didn't really know, what to really do a little bit, but I have an identity outside of sports. But as of right now, this is my job. This is an opportunity, to help my family get in a better situation. So being able to come back and do that layup was literally everything for me.
Finally came March 9th, the highly anticipated day Miles got to ring the bell for his final treatment of chemo.
Like one of those things is like a big weight off your shoulder, you know, and like I said, having all those people there for me, it was a wholesome, loving moment. I don't think it really hit me until like recently, June 1st, where I found out I was officially in remission.
On November 18th, Rice will take the court suited up and ready to finally see some playing time.
I might have to let the secret out. I've told him first bucket he gets him, call timeout.
Miles could have gone through this journey in private. He could have fought behind closed doors, but he chose to step into the light.
Why not let the people know that embrace me, let them know what's going on in my life, because like I said, they're essentially my family, away from my family. And, you know, I could always, my story might, you know, inspire somebody that may be going through something. If I can make somebody smile today, then, you know, I'm doing the right thing, because you never know what people's going through. Like, a lot of people didn't know that I went through the situation that I went through just based off how I was still being me, you know? So just being able to be me and, you know, put a smile on somebody else's face is what I try to do every day.
Imagine the smiles he'll put on the faces in Pullman when he plays. AJ Howell, SWX. On the Palouse, there's two athletes at two different schools playing two different sports, but with one common name. Meet Sam Brown. Now meet the other Sam Brown. Less than 10 miles apart, both killing it in their respective sports, they had no idea the other existed.
Are you aware that you're not the only Sam Brown on the Palouse?
I'm not. Is there another Sam Brown?
I mean, I'm not surprised.
Ooh, who is the other Sam Brown?
I'm not aware.
Now, I know what you're thinking. They're obviously twins. Okay, maybe not. But maybe there's a family name connection?
My real name's Samuel.
That's one Samuel.
My parents thought I was going to be a girl, so I was supposed to be Samantha Antoinette. They just changed it to Samuel instead.
That's two Samuels.
But I don't think there's another Samuel in my family. Must have looked like a Samuel.
And then Edward.
Middle name's Ray.
Okay, so no huge hidden connection here, at least not that we found.
I don't know. I haven't asked the right questions.
While one's bat has scored many a run for the Cougs, the other defends against the run. They differ off the fields as well.
I don't think there's any Sam Brown like me. I'm outgoing. I'm just completely different. So, I don't know. You're not going to meet one like me.
I like playing chess.
And if there was any more room for another rivalry around here, well, we may have accidentally started it.
It could be a little competition. We'll see. We'll see.
There definitely is then. I guess I'm going to have to show that I'm the better Sam Brown out here. So
Hopefully he does well, has a good name. But yeah, maybe a little competition.
Former Cougar quarterback Cam Ward will declare for the 2024 NFL Draft. Ward posted a video on his social media this morning stating his intentions. At the beginning of December, Ward announced he'd be deciding between entering the transfer portal as a graduate student and declaring for the draft. CBS Sports reporting he had interest from places like Florida State and Miami as a third-ranked QB in the portal. Ward was the Cougar starter for 2 years, threw for almost 7,000 yards and 48 touchdowns in his time in Pullman. The 2024 NFL Draft begins April 25th. All right, we've already showed you earlier in the show how UW want to punch their ticket to the national championship, but who's going to face the Huskies in the title game? Let's see. On to Pasadena for the Rose Bowl. Number 4 Alabama and number 1 Michigan fighting for a spot in the Natty. You know it's a good game when we start the highlights in the fourth quarter. Michigan leading by 3. Alabama QB Jalen Milroe calls his own number for 18 yards. The Tide would take the 4-point lead on the very next play. The Wolverines rally, and with less than 2 minutes to go, J.J. McCarthy finds Roman Wilson, tie game, and we head to overtime. Michigan proving why they're the number 1 team, making it look easy as Blake Corum goes 17 yards up the middle for the score. All comes down to this. 4th and goal for the Tide. Milroe takes it, and he's stopped. Michigan gets the win. We got more than we asked for in both of the games today. The Wolverines remain perfect and advance to the national championship to face the Huskies. No better way to improve the vibes around the Seattle Mariners right now and enjoy some hockey than the Winter Classic in T-Mobile Park. The Golden Knights made their way to Seattle for the showdown. Marshawn Lynch was in attendance, so you know it's going to be a good time. Scoreless in the first. And Vince Dunn, well, he changes that. Eeli Tolvanen with the deflection for his 10th goal this season. Logan Thompson just unable to stop it. Kraken still up in the second period. Felt like a good time for Will Morgan to have his first goal of the year. Kraken remain ahead. Third period, no answer yet from Vegas. Yanni Gorge-Rister makes it even more fun for the Kraken fans as Seattle wins it 3-0. The Kraken host the Senators back in Climate Pledge Arena Thursday night. After Sunday's loss, the Seahawks no longer control their own destiny to make the postseason. They need to beat the Cardinals and have the Packers lose to the Bears. The Gonzaga men's basketball team's AP poll appearance streak continues at 142 weeks, but the Zags are cutting it close, dropping to number 24 in the poll. That's 11 spots down from last week after Friday night's loss to San Diego State. The Zags fall to 9-4 on the season, their worst start through this many games since the 2010 season. Gonzaga still in the hunt for their first quad one win. Keep in mind, all 4 losses have been to strong teams. Purdue and UConn remain in the top 5, while San Diego State barely on the outside looking in. And of course, UW, just a tough road battle. Next up for the Zags, they're kind of home. They'll begin West Coast Conference play in the Spokane Arena versus Pepperdine on Thursday. And you can watch that game from the comfort of your own home right here on Nonstop Local KHQ. The Gonzaga women are faring much better, moving up 2 spots to number 18 after finishing non-conference play with a 13-2 record. WSU women no longer receiving votes, but they're on a long break right now, returning to action on the 5th versus Stanford. That's your look at sports. We'll be back after the break.